Scott is back with a brand new shirt. Well, it's not brand new. I've worn this before, but it's a different shirt. Same day, obviously, because I'm uploading as I do them. But, you know, chainless shirt. Wearing that one for the last couple days. Chainless shirt. So I'm wearing this one for the next couple of days. But, I don't go anything or do anywhere with wearing these shirts. I'll always just change it to like a t-shirt when it's like winter like this. So, but anyway, we are back with the Pig Tent 80s. And we are on number 6. Yes. And that's Earth Girls Are Easy. This movie's weird. It stars Gina Davis, Jim Carrey, Damon Wayans, Jeff Goldblum, and Julie Brown. Along with Charles Rocket, what's his face? From Short Circuit 2 and the Vernon Shirley. Fred Redditt. I don't remember the actor's name though. But he's in this. And yeah. So the plot involves three aliens searching the universe for babes, crash lands their spaceship in the pool of Valerie, a woman who is said to be married to a man who is obviously cheating on her, though she doesn't seem to understand and get the hint even when she doesn't. We'll get to it. And so now she's got to sort of integrate these aliens into human society while they fix their spaceship. Basically what it is. I think that as a whole, this takes place over a couple of days. 3 days, like a weekend or so. And what really threw me off, because here's full disclosure, I bought this, you know, I've been trying to collect the Veteran ones, although there was one, Absolute Justice or wherever it was, that didn't excite me, so I didn't grab it, although I probably should have. I've been trying to just grab every single one ever since. But the cover, look at this slip. It just intrigued me with this slip. So I was like, okay. And I've heard of the movie before, like the name Earth Girls Are Easy. I've heard the name of the movie before. Never seen it. So I was totally thrown off by the fact that this is a musical, except for when it's not. It doesn't have the musical numbers in the sense that there's some musical numbers, but not throughout the film. There's like a couple, maybe 3 at the beginning, and then there's a big chunk in the middle where there's nothing. And there's musical sequences, but it's not like a song someone is singing. There's like dancing at a club or something. Although I think it is Julie Brown singing the song, but you know, it's not like music. And then all of a sudden later, there's a musical number, and it's really weird. The 3 aliens, played by Jeff Goldblum, Jim Carrey, and Damon Wayans, are actually pretty cool looking. One's blue, yellow, and red, I think is their colors. Primary colors, by the way. And, yeah, I think the actors do a pretty good job. The first hiccup that I got in this is not the musical, but, like, when they have to become human, Valerie takes them to her friend, Julie Brown's character, Candy. And she gives them a makeover, which is shaving off all their fur and somehow changing the skin to be normal. Because I imagine if you shaved off all the fur, they would still be blue, yellow, and red underneath. But they're just human looking after shaving it off. I mean, look at this. Obviously, Jeff Goldblum has, like, a blue face. Same thing with Jim Carrey there. So it's very weird. I almost thought that it would be easier if they have some sort of device that they push the button and they look human. I also didn't like the fact that they decided, whoever wrote this decided that the aliens could speak English, but only stuff that they've learned. So they throw out phrases like stuff you hear on a TV commercial and stuff like that. Sometimes you get complete sentences here or there, but it'd be easier if they just had, again, a button where they can translate everything into English, where they're hearing them in the alien, they're hearing us humans is coming through their alien language, and they're speaking alien, but we're hearing English. You know what I mean? Like it's friends are like Doctor Who or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. And I found the character of Valerie to be kind of an idiot. So, first thing we see on Earth is that Valerie is at home. Her husband comes home late from work, and he's obviously got a hickey, and he's trying to clear it up, makeup that doesn't work, because you can still see it, and she's all ready to go, and he's like, you know what, I got a operation in the morning. I'm supposed to be a fake yawn. I got an operation in the morning. And so, get a hint. And even when so she's supposed to go to some kind of convention, but decides to stay behind and surprise him. So because she's supposed to be gone, he brings his secretary or another nurse home with him to have sex with him. And so he's with it. She can clearly hear that there's another woman out there. That there's a woman out there with him. She's in a closet listening. She can clearly hear the woman talking, but she's like, I'm gonna get him. And I'm just like, she comes out and she kind of grabs the woman and she's like, what's going on here? And I'm like, your fiance's trying to boink his nurse. And then she finally connects the dots here and then gets pissed and just goes nuts on the house, throwing things to a musical number, by the way, that is not sung by Gina Davis. If it was, her voice was completely augmented because it sounded nothing like her. It threw me off. I'm sitting there going, it's not her. It doesn't sound like her anyway. But the next day, the aliens crash land on Earth by accident and into the pool, which I feel like the ship is bigger than the pool, yet it fits in the pool just fine. And this movie's PG, but this is where the 80s PG kind of comes into context. It's 1988, this is after PG-13 was instituted, but when you see Gina Davis standing there when she first finds the ship, clear as day, you can see her nipples. I mean, they are right there. It's through her swimsuit, but you can see her nipples through her swimsuit. Who, was that supposed to be a thing? Like that shirt from Friends, where Monica, you could see Monica through the shirt when she's on stage. I don't know, but they were pointing right at me. I'm just saying. Not a bad thing by any means, But, yes. So we're introduced to the three aliens. Mac, Whitlock, and Zebo. Which are, Mac is Jeff Goldblum, Whitlock is Jim Carrey, and Zebo is Damon Wayans. And this is where it's, like, she goes down into the water for some reason, bumps her head on the thing, so they have to go save her, bring her into the ship. They grow real large and then shrink down. I don't know. And then she freaks out, of course. You got this nosy neighbor that sees all this stuff but somehow doesn't call the cops. Or maybe she does, they just don't believe her. I don't know. So she calls Woody, this guy the surfer dude, played by Michael McKean. There's the name, Michael McKean, who to drain the pool, and it would take all day. So she, just in case Ted comes back, she decides to take them to her salon with her. And that's when you get the makeover to make them look like humans. And then she still doesn't want to go out with them because people will find out they're aliens. Well, they look like humans. And so they go out to a club, and it's actually one of the best scenes in the movie. There's like a dance battle between Damon Wayans and this other guy over this one lady, this one woman, and he's like, who wants to, the guy's like, why would you dance with a zero? You could dance with a hero. And then Wayans comes back and goes, why dance with a hero when you could dance with a zero? And then later he's like, I want to dance with a zero. Want to dance with a zero? But, yeah. And it's, that one guy's dance moves are kind of weird, but neither here nor there. Musical sequence. And then it just becomes a regular movie for a while until Woody shows up and they're trying to fix the ship. And Woody's like, hey, you guys want to go surf the waves? And they're like, yeah. And so like, they're driving. He's like, oh, I forgot. They're doing a blonde thing at the beach. And then snap to the beach. Julie Brown, I think, in a blonde wig, singing about blondes on the beach. And I'm just like, I don't know. And then it kind of goes down a little bit. Stop at a gas station to fill up. And he tells them, hey, go in, get some snacks and other stuff. You know what I mean? And they have a fake toy water squirter gun, which looks exactly like a real gun. And I feel like that's not realistic. Like, I know there are squirt guns that look like real guns, but you could tell it's fake if you pay enough attention. But they come in and like, hey, man, we need some bread. And they mean bread, yet I think he's being held up, so he gives them money, which Zebo eats. They don't know what it is, I guess, but oh, I should mention before this that there is some sort of love interest relationship going on between Mac, Jeff Goldblum's character, and Gina Davis. I should mention here that they were married in real life at this time, so yeah. So there's that little tidbit of information as to why they were the love interests. And the frustrating thing is, you know they're going to end up getting together, especially if you know they were married in real life at this time. You know they're going to end up getting together. They have this weird, okay, there's this sort of sex scene followed by this strangest alien dream I have ever seen. Like, it's in black and white, and it's aliens of all shapes and sizes. And besides one thing where she wakes up the next day and goes, I had the weirdest dream. It's never brought up again. So I have to say, a big lip alligator moment. Because that's pretty much what it is. Besides one little throwaway line, I had the strangest dream. It's never brought up again. It's just another, I don't know if it's a musical sequence, but it's just another strange sequence in this movie. Anyway, back to the plot at hand, right? So, during this thing at the gas station, the guy thinks he was being robbed, which he wasn't. And then they leave. They go into the surfer dude's car, Woody's car. And Woody somehow doesn't put two and two together. He's like, he goes in to pay how much do I owe you, dude? He's like, I was being robbed. What? They went out there. Where? In that green piece of shit or whatever. That's my car, man. And it doesn't put two and two together. I don't know. My buddies are in there. My buddies are out there, whatever. And the cops end up getting called, which I thought was unnecessary. And soon after, the two take off. Whiplock and Zebo take off in the car, driving backwards because the lady told them to back up. So they back up and they're driving backwards on the highway. No cops follow them there. Anyway, cops show up. Shortly after they leave, Mac shows up looking for them because the spaceship was ready to go and they took off. And then Valerie goes looking for them. And the two, Whiplock and Zebo, end up at the hospital under the care of Ted, Charles Rodriguez's character, the cheating fiance. What are the coincidences? What are the chances? And so he examines them and finds they have 2 heartbeats. A spaceship that's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. 2 hearts. Travels through space. Comes to Earth. And leaves with a companion. Female companion. Who falls in love with one of them. If they were British and could travel through time, they might have a lawsuit on their hands. I'm just saying. It's I know the TARDIS is not technically a spaceship. I'm just saying. But here's 2 heartbeats. So he thinks, oh, I can make money out of this, something, you know. Valerie shows up. You know, they're going to arrest Mac, even though he didn't do anything. It's just for some reason, the gas station guy points Mac out as one of the guys that tried to rob him, which they doesn't look like either of them, so I don't understand it. And then Valerie wants to go with, and they won't, so she smashes the thing, the siren lights on there. She smashes it so that she gets in trouble too, and so they drive off, and then they're like, okay, we need to go. You know, they're on it goes across the radio that there are 2 suspects taken to the hospital, which no cops ever show up at the hospital, by the way. And they're like, hey, we need to go to the hospital. And earlier in the film, these aliens have an ability to do some kind of weird sexual arousal thing when they touch certain things. Like they do it to the cat when the cat gets vicious. And then, you know, when Mac and her have the sex, she does it then. And so she tells him to do it to the police officers. So basically, he turns them gay. Which, it's implied later that it's meant to amplify the feelings that are already inside. So, I think what it's trying to say is it didn't necessarily turn them gay as it brought out their feelings for each other. And I'll explain why I think that when we get to the end of the film. Because this is pretty much the climax here. So they get to the hospital, disguise themselves as nurse and doctor, and sneak in. And so Mac does his tricks to make it appear as if Ted is going nuts. And so they rescue the other 2 and they're going to leave. And Ted's like, okay, let's, can you take me out of here, please? Drive me home, whatever. And on the way there, he's like, let's go to Vegas and let's just elope. And she says, yes, do it. And I'm like, what? Why? This character is the most frustrating character. You know this guy is still going to cheat on you. And proof is in the pudding because he calls Barbara, his nurse, to take take over for him because he's going to Vegas, and he tells her he's going to get married. And apparently she gets pissed off, and he goes, just because I get married doesn't mean we can't still we can't still fool around. And she hangs up on him, so she's pissed too, so he lost that. And so the ship is fixed, they're going to leave, and Ted finds out that it's an alien spaceship, and he's going to call cops or whatever, and so he puts the love thing on both of them, and they start making out, but then it doesn't work on Valerie. So this is where I think that the feelings, and maybe some of my frustration will go away with this too, having thought about it, but I think the whole feelings thing, for this thing to work, you have to have feelings, or some sort of, thing. Like the cat is one thing, it's not really attractive to one kind of thing. So that's just, subduing it. But in this case, I think Ted and the cat do something which is really weird. But, there's an attraction there, and then she stops. It didn't work. But Ted is still under the influence of it, but she's not. So I don't know what his thing is. He's clearly not in love with her. But there's no connection between them, I guess. So I think it kind of eases up her thing where It's not about the fact that she's in love with him. It's the fact that she just wants to get married. So she ends up telling Mac that she's in love with him and take her back to their planet, and the movie ends. You know, Julie Brown stops by for one more cameo saying goodbye. She should have went with Whiplock. They had a thing, right? But yeah, this movie's weird. It's one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen. And I kind of now wish that I didn't put it in this, because this movie is such a weird movie with so many weird things that there's only one category I can put this in. And that's to say that you shut up in the hallway. Shh. Okay, so now that they're done being loud in the hallway, my rating for this, okay? I was going to give it a so bad it's good, but you know what? I don't think it's that weird of a movie. I did enjoy it. Some things were kind of throwing me off. So I'm just going to put it in the middle of the road. And I'll say this, it's so high up in the middle of the road that it's almost a pretty good, but I just can't put it, I'll probably rewatch it again. It's a weird movie. It might even go up for me, to be honest. Vestron has a way of releasing these movies that are just, they're hidden gems, basically. Stuff I have never seen before, and it's just like, there they are. And yeah, this is one of those. So, middle of the road. Highest, very high middle of the road. Alright then, time to roll the dice. A 3. Been on the focus here. A 3. There we go. So a 3. 2, 3. Highlander. How long is that? 160 minutes. Okay. That can only be Juan. It can be only Juan. Director's cut, huh? That can be only Juan. It's right there on the back. Never seen this. I rented the VHSs from the library. I don't think I ever actually sat and watched them. To be honest. I don't think I ever did. But, we shall see. Until then, what are your thoughts on Earth Girls Are Easy? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next.